To launch into things, I'm Chris.
And I am Lindsay.
And we are the founders of Hug Your Chaos. Guys, this morning we are inspired and called to talk about the connection to heart and how that measures up against what we do in life and our success.
Yeah.
You cannot work hard enough to succeed at something that you are not passionate about. Now take a minute and let those words sink in. If you are not deeply passionate or connected towards what you are doing, you can force some measure of early success, sure, but it's not sustainable, it's not going to last. In realism, if you don't have the connection to your heart, to what you are deeply passionate about, and what you are doing is not coming from in here,
hey Gail,
then you cannot work hard enough to succeed at it long term.
If you're not getting up to fulfill your part and do your role and bring your gifts to the world, it's gonna make for a rather challenging existence. And the thought that popped into my mind essentially was, well, geez, it's no wonder so many people are living a sort of miserable, disconnected life, because they're not waking up to do their passion. They're waking up to report to a job that is barely, just getting them by. I mean, I did it myself for years, so I haven't forgotten what that feels like to wake up and be like, I have to go to this fucking job. I hate this job. This job gives me lots of money and lots of freedom. It's like, it really got me thinking that, like, there I was. This job was giving me money to do what I really loved, which was travel. But 3/4 of the year I was very unfulfilled. and when I would come back from the travel, I was very unsatisfied, very miserable, and it was a very depressing way to live. There wasn't a whole lot of connection. So it really it got me thinking that, how many people are stuck in that same thing? And the problem is that we get stuck in that rut and we're like, well, I can't change it now because I got these kids I got to pay for. I got family. I got people that are dependent upon me. I got bills. I got a house, car, cell phone bill, whatever it is, right? There's always things. There's always going to be things and excuses and reasons why we can't shift course.
Good morning, Rachel.
But the bottom line is this, that we can shift course at any given time. We just have to want to badly enough.
Oh, there you go. Working towards money to buy what you want outside of what you do as a career, as a profession on the planet, is not a goal to work towards. So if you're spending your time in something that you do not connect with, even if you don't hate it, if you don't connect with it on a heart level, you are wasting your life.
Yeah, and I'll be happy later on when I have all this money and I can go over here and I can do what I want. And it's like, but will you really? Because 99% of the time you get to that point, you have all the money, and now you've got physical problems because you've been living in disconnection. You've got illness or chronic pain or some autoimmune disease, or it's like you're disconnected from your family because you've spent all your time working, so you come home and it's like you live with strangers, or your relationship has already fallen apart. Because it's like we convince ourselves that the answer is over here. I'll be happy when I have all that money. And you guys, it's just not true. If you're disconnected and you're unhappy without the money, you're not going to be happy when you get the money.
Right.
So that's what we mean when we say that using the money as the sole motivation and the sole goal as to why you're doing something, it's going to leave you flat on your face, feeling unfulfilled. You're going to get there. You might have your millions around you, and then you're going to look around and you're going to be like, damn, what now?
So I want to share a brief story with you. If I was working as a travel agent, this lady come in. She was an older lady. She would have been in her 70s, and she was collecting brochures for a holiday. And I'm like, where are you off to? And she got a very sad look on her face, and she looked me straight into my fucking soul, and she said, we're not going anywhere. This was the trip that we were going to take, but my husband now has, whatever the disease was, and he can't travel. This was the trip that we worked our whole lives for. This is the trip that we were planning, and the best that I can do now is take these brochures so that he can look at what he's not going to have. That's the closest he will ever get to it. This This was what people were doing in life. They were working in a job that wasn't quite right for them. They were connecting with something that wasn't their passion for a whole life, with the idea that they would be able to buy what they wanted at the end of the day. But when the end of the day came, there was not enough life left in them to do it.
So when you stop and you ask yourself, what am I actually working for? This is where you need to start challenging your own belief system. So it's like when we stop and we ask ourselves, what the fuck are we actually working towards? If that's not available to us and that's not a viable option to us, why is it such a far cry and crazy thing to imagine following your heart path or pursuing your passion or taking the steps to get you out of that job you hate and over here pursuing something that you love? Everybody has skills. They have gifts. They have passions. They have things that they know a ton about. For everything that you know, there is somebody who would like to know what you know.
Oh, powerful statement, guys.
Everything that you do well, there is somebody you could be teaching how to do that thing. There's absolutely no more excuse as to why anybody should stay stuck in a rut of a life that is not fulfilling them. You might have 1,000 excuses that you believe, but I'm going to tell you right now, we'll cut through your bullshit excuses. Because your excuses are the most dangerous thing that you can cling to.
That's why at Hug Your Chaos, we don't tell you what your happiness looks like. What we do is we show you how to listen to your heart. So